I grew up in the times when there was, literally millions of farmers across the United States, and now there's maybe hundreds of thousands, so our community has really shrunk in that regard, but we've become much more productive, obviously. This has permitted folks to move off the farm, I guess, and I feel really privileged to have been part of how we progressed on the farm. And it's just a really cool way to make a living, I think. So, and I get a lot of gratification every day to grow a crop, to watch that crop grow. That's the coolest thing and the best gig in the world. All those things that I really focus on, and I've focused on my whole life. So,
a legacy lives on forever, and the legacies of America's rural communities deserve to be memorialized and shared with great joy. Together, these stories reveal a beautiful tradition of hard work, perseverance, and love. Big Iron Auctions is proud to share your legacy. This week, we share the legacy of a family in Chester, South Dakota, whose farming roots in America go back to the 1600s.
It's something my dad and I have talked about, and I talked about with my grandpa, when I was growing up. Proud that I'm the sixth generation that's stuck around, and things I've learned from my dad is just the love for agriculture and the love for the land. And that was probably what inspired me to want to come back to the farm, as I could see the passion that he had in it. And, it kind of rubbed off.
Gosh, I think if I counted them up now, I think I'm the 13th farmer in our line of farmers in the United States. But since, the early 1800s, we've been all agrarians in the Midwest.
Family, came from Scandinavia back in the early 1600s and moved across the United States and kept coming west. And the one that actually came to South Dakota had moved from southern Minnesota.
I love when we can all be together, and there's some days we have 3 generations out working the field, and Grandpa's in the combine, our daughter's in the combine, boys are trucking. It's just all hands on, which is amazing coming from a family farm.
My favorite thing about growing up on a farm is probably combining and working around the shop.
My favorite thing about growing up on a farm is just being able to help Dad and Mom, Grandpa, and just helping out.
I just love growing up on a farm and having my kids raised on a farm, and the work ethics and the huge possibilities that can come from living on a real farm.
Growing up, I was really my grandpa's shadow. It was kind of all day, every day. That was kind of what I wanted to do, and hang around with him. And so he's the one that got me driving tractors. We got a little old tractor that I learned how to drive tractor on, and it's one that we've still got to today.
Well, it's the old popper I spent a lot of hours on.
Yeah.
1967-30, Gramps bought that back then.
Yeah, I remember Grandpa telling me that when he pulled it onto the yard, Grandpa Myron told him it was the biggest hunk of iron he's ever seen.
Yeah, then look at this.
Yeah, everything is, it's tiny.
Yeah, and you pulled a lot of hay wagons around for Gramps.
Yeah, learned how to drive when I was younger than those guys.
I remember particularly cultivating. And back when we checked corn, we went one way and then we went the other way, and bouncing over those ridges we made from the previous pass. And when I look at that, I just get a side ache remembering that continual bouncing across the field for hours.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun learning how to drive, and boy, what the memories, out there working with Grandpa with this.
Keith, you remember that night when we were out checking corn, and I told you to stay in the pickup because I wanted to go in the corn and probably do some soil probing. And I came back out of the corn and you were gone.
Well, you always left me in the pickup. I always got impatient. I remember lots of irrigator checking. Boy, things have come a long ways since then. Now we get to go out there and check it together. And
that had to have been about 85 maybe, probably 3 or 4 years old. I was terrified. I thought, we're going to be searching for Keith the whole night.
Yeah.
This corn.
But I remember getting down, I went out in the rows, and I dropped to my knees and kind of looked underneath the canopy and hollered your name, and here you came walking, waddling out to me. So I was terrified.
Yeah.
One of the few times in my life I've been terrified.
I remember Grandpa talking about sitting around the dinner table one noon, and Grandpa Myron telling him, you know, and one thing about it, you're never going to have corn any better than you got this year. And they were pretty pleased with about 100 bushel corn crop.
Gosh, yeah.
Now that
it's doubled.
Yeah.
Or more than doubled.
And it's been exciting to see those changes, and, you know, what that's, you know, meant for the family, and, you know, farming the same ground that those guys did so many years ago.
The Alversons are a great family. Their legacy, it seems like, is just a true farming institution almost. It's just one of them families that you just know things are going to get done, and they're going to get done right. They're going to have a good time doing it. No, it's just been an awesome opportunity. Me and Ron have served on a ethanol plant board, and we built that up and stuff, and Ron was very instrumental throughout the nation and South Dakota, you know, with corn growers and things like that. Just a great guy to work with, and the whole family's always been that way.
When I think about a legacy and what mine may be, I think it goes back to what my family's may be. You know, because I'm the sixth generation, it feels like I'm part of something a little bit bigger than that. Trying to create those opportunities for my kids, create the opportunity for them to see the passion that I have for agriculture. And but you know, our work with the land and trying to make it better and create opportunities for them is really kind of the legacy that we'd like to leave as a family.